Hey, what's up? It's your boy, Headmaster Michael here. Today I'm just going to show you how to make an ACD. In case you forgot, an ACD is our all coverage device. It's a side piece that we include in all of our weeklies to include more people in a yearbook and to fill up space. For our ACD, we're going to have pop-up cutouts and a color overlay effect. So notice how these people's shoulders extend past the rectangles. And also notice how the background is colored. I'll show you later how to do those effects. So starting off, you're going to want to find two people for your ACD. To find people, you can use the student spreadsheets in our yearbook drive. So it's going to be this spreadsheet titled SGHS Student Listing 2020 to 2021. So just go in that spreadsheet and select two random people. And when you're selecting your people, make sure that they're different ethnicities, different genders, and different grades. We want to be as inclusive as we can. So once you have your people chosen, go message them if they're okay to send in photos and responses to our ACD question. Also, when you're asking for photos, make sure to tell your people to take their photos in a well-lit area with a simple background, and that the photo should be a vertical full body photo. So something like these photos, simple background, well lit, and full body. Okay, so once you have your people, you can work on making the actual ACD. So again, in our yearbook drive, you can go to the templates folder and then download our ACD template. So just right click on it and click download. It's a PSD file, by the way, so you're going to open up Photoshop and then click on that template. So on the template, you'll see black rectangles, red rectangles, and text. For this black text, you'll just be putting in your people's responses to the questions. For the color text, you'll put your person's name and grade. On the black rectangles and red rectangles, you're going to put photos of your people. So go ahead and open up those photos of your people. For each photo document, you're going to want to convert your photo layer into a smart object. Then make a cutout of that subject. So right click on your layer, click convert to smart object, and then with any fast selection tool selected, click on select subject in the top middle, and then wait for the selection to be made. Once your selection is made, you can click on add layer mask to create your cutout. Then with your cutout made, click and drag your cutout layer to the template document. Move your layer somewhere within the document and then release. You're then going to want to resize the photo so that it fits within your template. So it doesn't matter about the size, we'll adjust that later. Just make sure it fits somewhere inside. And now you're going to want to do the same thing with the other photo. So convert to smart object, select subject, create clipping mask, and then move your cutout layer onto the template document and resize. Once you have both your cutouts in your template, you're going to arrange the order of your cutouts so that they're both below the red guidance rectangles for each side. For this cutout on the left, I'm going to move him below the guidance rectangle on the left side group folder. And for the cutout on the right, I'm going to move it below the guidance rectangle on the right side group folder. Now you're going to move and resize your cutouts until your subject's shoulders fit within the red guidance rectangles. The shoulders don't have to exactly match the width of the red rectangle. They just have to be somewhere reasonable inside that area. So I'm just going to resize this person real quick. Just a pro tip, you can move the anchor point and then resize from the anchor point. So something like this looks okay. You're going to want to make sure that these shoulders protrude past the rectangle. That's the important thing. Alright, so now I'm going to do it for the other cutout. make sure that the two people's faces are similar sized. Also, the exact placement of their faces doesn't matter. Just make sure that they're somewhere near the center and that they're not extending past the rectangle like that. Only the shoulders should extend past the rectangle. Okay, so once you got your people resized and placed in a nice place, you're gonna mask out everything below the red guidance rectangle. So click on your cutout layer, use the rectangular marquee tool, and select the area below the red rectangle. Make sure that your selection is exactly below the very bottom part of each red rectangle. So I'm just gonna move my rectangle and adjust it until I see that purple smart guide line, and I'm gonna drag out my selection. On the cutout's layer mask, I'm gonna fill that selection with black. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing for the other cutout. So I'm gonna click on a layer, go to the layer mask, and use the rectangular marquee tool to mask everything out below the red rectangle. I'm also going to use a smart guide to help me make my selection. And the smart guide's that magenta line. Alright, so we're done with the cutout part. We're now going to do the color overlay effect. So to do that, click on a cutout, duplicate it by pressing Ctrl J or Command J. Delete the layer mask for that duplicate. Move that duplicate below the original layer. Clip that duplicate layer onto your rectangle layer. Create a solid color layer. Set the color to your seasonal color. So like for summer, that would be 0, 27, 86, 0. And in the blending mode drop down here, select color. Clip your solid color layer onto your duplicate layer. And do the same thing for your other subject. So duplicate, delete layer mask, move it behind, clip it to the back, clip it to the rectangle, make a solid color fill, change it to the seasonal color, and then clip it to the duplicate. Okay, and at this point, you can also delete the guidance rectangles. Alright, so we're done making the template. What we can do now is save this document as a PSD in case you need to revise it. You can title it, and then save it as a PNG to place in your spread. Now, open up InDesign, go to your spread, use the place feature, find your ACD, and then click once to place your ACD. You only want to click once so you don't mess up the sizing of your ACD. This keeps the size of all of our ACDs consistent. Let's go ahead and move this wherever you want. The last thing you want to do now is add your ACD question. So go ahead and use the text tool, drag out a text box, and add your question. The ACD question will be formatted with the font Integral CF, size 18 font, and the lighting set to auto, the color being your seasonal color, and the text being aligned center. For the summer ACD question, you're going to split the question after challenge. So it's going to be, what's the challenge? And then in a new line, you had to overcome. Now just crop the text box so that it barely touches the bottom edge of your question. Move it down so that it barely touches the ACD. And then move the text 10 picos up. You can easily do that by holding Shift and pressing the up arrow key. Last thing you want to do is center align your question and your ACD. Select those two things, and then in the alignment options up here, click Align Horizontal Centers. And there we go, that's our ACD. Hope you guys learned something. Dropping balls, dropping balls.